tare ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to everyone, and Tashi Delay. I'm Dr. Jean Carroll, and it is my great pleasure to be hosting you live from Sussex, England, for this very special edition of Lama Live. Today we are honoured to have Lopön Ellen Booth Church, Yeshe Chappelle, as our guest teacher. With 35 years of Tibetan Buddhist practice, Ellen is a respected teacher, meditation coach, and former Tara Mandala board member. She has helped establish 3 Tara Mandala Sanghas and teaches widely across the US and Europe. Known especially for her deep wisdom and skillful teaching of the Mandala method, Ellen brings a wealth of knowledge and a heartfelt presence to our community. We are so fortunate to have her with us today. Please join me in warmly welcoming Lopön Ellen Booth Church.
Oh, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I am so grateful to be here, and I welcome all of you, and I invite you to put in the chat, if you'd like, in the comments, where are you? I'm in North Carolina, and CD is there, and Midge is out in New Mexico. Here comes Kathy Lewis in California. It's a beautiful day here. Actually, the daffodils are coming up. So spring's coming, and I actually remember to turn my clocks, although the cat didn't really like that too much and just looked at me like, it's time to get up. So welcome. Oh, those people, there's Susan Scott in Florida, Laura in Oslo, wow. Vegas, Chattanooga, Atlanta, Altadena, special heart for you, Arizona. Good morning. It's good to be together. So one of the traditions that we have in Tibetan Buddhism that I cherish is starting our time together in a deep conscious way. And so what I'd like for us to do is take a moment as we kind of sign in, like think about why did I come today? It's an interesting topic, yes? Mandala, sacred masculine. Perhaps that title brought up something in your mind, in your heart, and a curiosity. Let's see. I see London, San Francisco, Montreal, Tara Mandala, Key West. Yes, Portland. Wonderful to be together. So let's just take a moment to raise the bodhicitta. So just first part of this is just ground yourself in these places that you're in, these countries, states, homes, all the different parts of the world. So take a moment now to really feel where you are. In fact, you don't even need to close your eyes. In fact, look around a little bit. What's the light where you are? Are you indoors? Are you outdoors? What's the quality of that light? And feel the air around you too. What's the quality of the air? Notice where your feet are resting, where your hands are resting. Just settle your body into this time together. Whatever time of the day, it could be the morning for some, middle of the day, evening, night. But use all those clues to bring yourself to this moment. And then if you want, you could even close your eyes and tune inside. What's the quality, the state of your mind right now? Your heart. Feel some space around those feelings, those states. As we step into this mandala together. So together, if you like, we can do the one-pointed mudra of bodhicitta. That's your fingers all backwards except the front, or down, I should say, except the center ones. And then those are at your heart like an antenna. What does that even feel like? To have an antenna of loving kindness, awareness at your heart. So with that intention, we set the intention that we do this time together to be a benefit to ourselves and to our world. We know through the interconnection of all life, we're not separate. And we can rest in that knowing, be present with each other. So as we raise this bodhicitta, and we're connecting with that awakened mind of the heart, our awakened heart, our true nature. That wakefulness, that's who we are, who we always are. And this, we connect with radiant wakefulness out to all beings, truly without one or any exception. Thank you. So I actually want to start with a quote from Lama Sutra. This is my favorite quote of hers, although people who have known me for years know that I have many favorites. So maybe I'll call this my super favorite. But I want you to feel into this quote because the essence of this quote will pervade this entire experience together today. In it, she says, in the mandala, through sound and symbol, color and element, we have an embodied experience of our highest and deepest capacity. The Buddhas stimulate and activate our potential, and we respond to these symbols often without even knowing it. Sitting in the mandala, we transform our psyche. We're being creative with our whole being. The practice makes us shift the seat of our consciousness, and we are using embodiment for transformation, and we really do shift. We must take apart our view of ourselves as an entity and transform it into an energy. Lama Sutra Malayani. We must take apart our view of ourselves as an entity and transform it into an energy. Keep that one sentence in your back pocket as we go through today. So it's important for me to say also at this point, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to discuss the mandala. When I was invited to present Lama Live to talk about mandalas, I chose to focus on the Five Buddha Mandala because I believe it's important right now to embody, to promote, to bring forth the energy and the qualities of the sacred masculine in our world. The energies of the sacred masculine in our world. There is a need for the sacred masculine to bring our world into balance and equanimity for all beings. You might be feeling out of balance, as I am, at times. You might feel the need for rest or refuge to gain stability and strength. As you know, Lama Tsultrim says meditation is activism. So mandalas are one ways to do this, to transform the negative emotions and embody the positive, sacred masculine, sacred feminine out into the world. So in this challenging time, I'm making a choice. I'm choosing to work with my reactions to the news, events, my sorrow, my grief, my anger, all of that arises. I'm choosing to embody positive energies, positive qualities of both the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine. May it be so. So I have to just share a little bit about how I got here and why the mandala is so important to me. I met the mandala when I was 37 years old at a retreat outside of Woodstock, New York. I really knew very little about Buddhism and nothing about the mandala. But I had read Lama Tsultrim's book, Women of Wisdom, and I was touched by her story and the stories of the awakened women in the book. My therapist at the time said, "You need a teacher." So off I went, and my life changed. I was going through a divorce and dealing with emotions and fears. But in this retreat, I received the teachings of the mandala of the enlightened, fierce feminine. I know just last month, Lama Tsultrim shared in a Lama Live about this mandala of the fierce feminine, the dakinis. So from that day, those days, the mandala became a roadmap for me, for my life, for my heart. So right now, a deep bow to you, Lama Tsultrim, for all that you have brought to so many people, and how you brought this mandala, this ancient process, to life for all beings. So now here I am 38 years later, and the mandala is still a gift. It's a tool I use to navigate the ups and downs of life, to take a wider view and work with transforming obstacles into wisdom. At the time of the retreat, I needed the energy of the fierce feminine. Going through a divorce, having all kinds of challenges, I needed to find my inner strength, my voice, my wisdom as a strong feminine female. I needed to trust myself. And through the mandala work, I noticed when I was in a challenging emotional pattern, sometimes they're called traditionally poisons, that I could transform the very energy of that through meditation into wisdom. I learned to work with the energy, not the storyline, and to use that energy to embody wisdom. Remember that line that I put in your back pocket? We must take apart our view of ourselves as an entity and transform it into an energy. So over the years, I learned that there are many kinds of mandalas. That was the first one I learned. So traditionally, a mandala is a center with 4 directions encircling it. So here's an image of the Five Buddha Mandala. This is one that's done by Lama Gurme and is part of our mandala practice. So if you see, there's the white in the center, blue, yellow, red, green around the outside. So when we meditate with this sacred structure, we can learn to work with the energies of the challenges and transform them into wisdoms. Thank you. So each different type of mandala works with different poisons or encumbered patterns. Lama uses that term. I find that helpful. Kleshas is another word. And those traditional 3 poisons in Buddhism are anger, ignorance, and greed, which is really attachment. So I mentioned the fierce mandala, the wrathful mandala, that works with often the dakinis are a good example. So a wrathful mandala transforms anger into mirror-like wisdom, reflective clarity. So that dakini mandala I learned in the first retreat was just what I needed. I never even realized how much anger I had at the time. I thought I was pretty calm. It was so important to turn and look at my anger with what was going on in my relationship. But interestingly, years later, I met someone that I knew since kindergarten, hadn't seen her in years. And I said, what was I like as a child? And she floored me by saying, you were a very angry little girl. Wow, how interesting. So with the mandala work, I could turn and look at that anger. What was squished, kept down, I wasn't aware of. And also the outgoing anger. I could recognize the energy of it. And through the sound and the light and embodiment as wisdom dakinis, I could transform it into a reflective spaciousness. So that's one type of mandala, the wrathful or fierce. The Five Buddha Mandala that we're going to be working with today is a peaceful mandala. It represents the transformation of ignorance, but that's the traditional term. And it's more about ignoring or spacing out. It can be depression. It can be a shutting down, a closing in. But in working with that energy through the sound, the light, embodiment, it opens into all-encompassing spaciousness. And then the third type of mandala is what's called the semi-wrathful, semi-peaceful, sometimes called joyful mandala. And that's the Yabum mandala of the male and female Buddhas. It's the transformation of grasping and clinging into discernment wisdom. So as a practitioner, all these years, I'm so grateful to have these different mandala practices, these meditations that I can use when needed. When do I need that peaceful transformation of shutting down and needing to open up? When do I need to work with the anger? When do I need to work with attachment and grasping? So by knowing these encumbered patterns and the flip side, if you want to call it, of the pattern becoming wisdom, I can meditate and work with these energies in challenging times. We're so blessed to have these mandala practices that Lama Tsultrim has created over the years. And I want to really honor the mandala method that's being led and taught by the Chogeys Lisa and Choge Bridget. I had the honor just last month, to work with these 2 wise women with the Yabum Mandala retreat. And a new one is starting up March 24th, the Mandala of the Enlightened Feminine or Empowered Feminine. So I highly recommend that. So, and here's the important thing to say. It's important to say that no one has to be what I called a card-carrying Buddhist to do this work. The mandala method becomes a tool for checking in with yourself and with your experience of the world. It's that method of working with the mandala as a time to ask yourself questions. What am I feeling right now? What are my reactions? What needs to transform What do I want to embody? So when I practice the mandala, I can take that energy of depression, shutting down, ignoring, spacing out, and it becomes vast space, peace, light. Or I can take the anger, and through the sound, the light, the color, and the embodiment, it becomes reflective, like a vast mirror, not reactive, reflecting things just as they are. Immense clarity. Or maybe I'm feeling insecure or prideful, pride covering over the insecurity, boastful. But by recognizing that, through that process of mandala work, it becomes equanimity and generosity, an enriching presence for all without exception. Or if I'm feeling attachment, self-clinging, grasping, through practice, it becomes an open embrace of compassion for all with discernment. Or if I'm feeling anxiety, reactivity, or hurriedness, that becomes all-accomplishing wisdom, a presence, but also a trust in the moment. At this time, I feel like I need all three of these mandalas. Some days I need to embody the fierceness of the Dakini mandala of the empowered feminine. Other days I need to embody the balance of the male and female Buddhas of the Yabyu mandala. But today I want to talk about the Five Buddha Mandala, the peaceful mandala, and how that mandala has brought the energy of the awakened sacred masculine into my life. When I work with this mandala, it gives me a sense of peace, refuge, skillful means. Those compassionate tools that I need to take positive actions out into the world. So as a peaceful mandala, the Five Buddha Mandala transforms ignorance, ignoring, into spacious awareness. I'll be honest. Current news, sometimes some of the amazing events that are happening, sometimes it can feel claustrophobic, overwhelming, exhausting, and fearful. Yeah. But when I meditate on the transformed state of the peaceful Five Buddha Mandala, I can feel a spaciousness around those emotions, around my fear, my frustration. And this experience empowers me to draw from the wisdom of the five Buddhas, allowing me to express skillful means in the actions I take out into the world, and compassion. So, what does the sacred masculine energy feel like? There's that word again. Keep that one in mind, because we're talking about energy here, not male and female. We're talking about an energy. So in Tibetan Buddhism, skillful means represents, I think the best way to describe it is this active, compassionate energy that is used to help others. Essentially acting as a force to actively engage in the world to alleviate suffering. Oh, may it be so. So what does that look like when skillful means is being practiced? I think some qualities of that might be to listen to others respectfully, honoring their differences, their viewpoints, recognizing that others may have very different needs and benefits, different ways of life. and not choosing one's good or bad or different. And I think also the energy of skillful means is a bit of trust. Trusting and responding in the moment with whatever is at hand. So I feel that my practice of the Five Buddha Mandala brings these qualities into our lives, but always because there's no separation, interconnection of all life. We bring and manifest those energies in the world. Think of all the people who are listening to this right now. And if we embodied all those qualities, and brought that out into the world. Let's do it. So again, the key words here are energy and qualities I'm talking about. The sacred energy and qualities of the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine. And I'm not really just talking about men or women. I'm talking about energies and these qualities that are within us all. And I think when we do this, we can become effective change agents in the world by embodying the balance of sacred feminine and sacred masculine in the world. So I want to recommend to you a wonderful podcast I think Lama did last year on Sounds True. And it's called Turning Towards What is Difficult. Turning Toward What is Difficult. I highly recommend it, and I think we'll be putting the link for that in the chat. In it, she talks a lot about sacred feminine, sacred masculine, and the Yabum Mandala. And I want to just share one piece from this because it's how she describes the feminine and masculine energy in Vairochana philosophy. So feminine energy is prajna. Prajna is the wisdom of emptiness. But this isn't empty like a big hole. It's spaciousness. It's the formless ground from which all phenomena arise. It is not passive, but it is inherently relational, connecting. And this prajna holds the potential, pure potentiality for all forms of action and manifestation. So in Vajrayana teachings, the feminine represents intuition, interconnectedness, but also the dissolving of rigid conceptual boundaries. Prajna. And masculine energy is called upaya. Upaya translates to skillful means, and it's the energy of action, clarification, and manifestation. Action, clarity, manifestation. It arises from spaciousness of prajna to shape and engage with the world. Masculine energy is dynamic and focused, but without that connection to female energy of prajna, it can become blind activity. So working with that balance, then we have positive, skillful means, clarity, and manifestation. So let's take a moment now and do a little mini meditation. I invite you to get comfortable. You can close your eyes if you like, whatever's comfortable. And remember, these masculine and feminine energies are in all of us, no matter how we identify ourselves. So in meditation, we're working with those energies within. So take a moment now, tuning into yourself, your body, your life. Feel into the energies of feminine wisdom, intuition, spaciousness, relationality. What do those energies feel like within you? How do they manifest in your life? Now tuning into your body again, your speech and mind. Feel into the energies of the masculine, sacred masculine, skillful means and compassion. This is the energy of action and clarity, manifestation. How do those energies manifest in your being? So now notice the balance of those energies. When are you most likely to embody sacred feminine energy? When are you most likely to embody sacred masculine energies? How do you express them out into the world? It's the inner union that allows us to find strength and clarity within so that we can become effective change agents in the world. These are all capacities that must be nurtured by all of us, regardless of our gender identity. Thank you. So it can be interesting to feel into those energies. Notice how we use them, how they come out into the world, where there might be a need for more balance. And that's where mandala work comes in. So this is the Five Buddha Mandala that you're seeing here on the screen. You see Vairochana in the center, white, Akshobhya blue in the east, Ratnasambhava in the south, Amitabha in the west, and Amoghasiddhi in the north. So the mandala of the five Buddhas really is for all of us that want a more integrated sacred masculine, not only in ourselves, but in the world. Because Buddhism sees the enlightened masculine as a capacity to act skillfully and with compassion. Often the energy is described skillful means and compassion. Important, essential combination, skillful means, and compassion. And working with energy is the key. Remember that quote from Lama Sotram. We use sound and syllable, color and light element to embody our highest and deepest capacity, to stimulate and activate our potential. How this practice, this meditation, makes us shift the seat of our consciousness, our awareness, and we use embodiment for transformation. We must take apart our view of ourselves as an entity and transform it into an energy. So let's meet the five Buddhas, their symbols and meanings. Here's a quote. In the process of tantric Buddhist practice, these symbols and specific meanings surround them are kept in the mind as we visualize the mandala. The impact of symbolic meaning ignites the intuitive experience, not dominated by thinking mind, and thus can impact the psyche in nonverbal direct ways so that we know the meaning, not just the words. So I'd like for us to do now is to meet each of the five Buddhas, and we'll do it in a kind of semi-meditative way as we go along. And that way you have an experience of really seeing how we can do this process of embodiment. So, I'm going to invite you to just take a moment to sit in meditative awareness, taking a few deep breaths, releasing any tension you might have in your body with each exhalation. And then this time, as we take deep breaths, release any tension you hold in your emotional body, any emotions that are arising. Just let them go with each exhalation. Now taking deep breaths again. Release any worries, any thoughts, mental tension with each exhalation. Join me to generate the motivation to do this meditation for all beings, recognizing that everyone can benefit from this practice. Just take a moment to quietly feel that in your heart. Maybe feeling where the sacred masculine needs to be embodied. How your presence as each of these five Buddhas is of benefit. Emaho. Now you're ready to begin your journey through the five Buddhas. So we can do this with a combination with the eyes open and eyes closed. But we start in the center, as we always do, with the Buddha family. The color here is white with a light blue radiance. The element is space. The season is winter. And the landscape is the white sky in wintertime. Here in the center is the white Buddha, Vairochana. He's called the illuminator, the great illuminator, the all-encompassing one. Vairochana Buddha is about openness and vastness, uncentralized space. And he represents the transformation of non-recognition, ignoring, not wanting to see, closing down, into the vast, all-encompassing space of the wisdom of Dharma Dhatu. If you notice in his image here, he's sitting on a lion throne. I'm fascinated with these animal thrones. They bring a particular connection to nature, but also to the symbolism of animals. So here on the lion throne, the lion represents fearlessness. The Buddha himself was sometimes called the lion, his voice, lion of the Sakya. And it's a fearlessness of proclaiming the truth of the Dharma. His seed syllable is Om, O-M. And if you look at his hands, he's doing a mudra. It is the mudra of teaching the Dharma. Like two circles at the heart. This teaching mudra indicates that moment when the Buddha taught the Dharma to his first disciples. So as we talked about before, there are both blocked emotional patterns and wisdoms. Here in the Buddha family, let's tune into the blocked emotional pattern. It could be a time that you felt procrastination, a time of depression or overwhelm, confusion. Just take a moment to identify with perhaps a time, that feeling of the emotionally blocked pattern, encumbered pattern. Mm-hmm. And then through the energy of sound, we will sound the Om, his seed syllable, and feel our body become his body and embody his wisdom of all-encompassing cognizance, the purified light of consciousness. So we'll sound the Om several times. Feel how your body transforms into his body, the body of Vairochana. Feel your luminescent white body as the wisdom of spaciousness, the union of consciousness and emptiness. Feel your sky-like awareness. And then notice beneath you, the strength of the lion throne holding up the throne, the fearlessness and strength of the Dharma. And now we'll leave the Buddha family in the center and turn our awareness to the east. Feel the energy of east, morning, dawn, early winter. Colors blue like the autumn sky. The element is water. And here is the blue Buddha, Akshobhya. Peaceful, luminescent, dark blue Akshobhya. The imperturbable, immovable, unshakable. And he's seated on an elephant throne. If you've ever experienced an elephant, they are unmovable, imperturbable. But also, here it represents a steadfastness, staying with it, and a strength. It's said that as an elephant places its foot upon the earth with unshakable certainty, so the Buddha, Akshobhya's mind, reflects everything. And his mudra, the Bhumispara mudra, is the earth-touching mudra. His left hand is in his lap, and the right hand is reaching down over the knee to touch the earth. This is indicating that moment of enlightenment when Shakyamuni put his hand down, touched the earth, and called her to witness the reality and the unshakability of his realization. This gesture suggests confidence, determination. So take the image down for a moment now, please. And I invite you now to take a moment just to tune into the blocked energy of Vajra. We mentioned before it's anger, can be frustration, coldness, an overanalyzing or an intellectualizing. Really feel it. A time maybe recently when anger's arisen, frustration. Really feel that energy. You remember, we're working with energy. Feel that energy in your body. Sensation. Now we're going to sound his seed syllable, which is spelled hum, H-U-M, but it's actually pronounced hung, H-U-N-G. So as we sound the hung several times, your mind state will transform into the embodiment of the vast, non-reactive, reflective, mirror-like wisdom. What does it feel like to have a blue body? You are Akshobhya. Feeling yourself radiating the consciousness in the state of the mirror as the emotion of anger has transformed into this wisdom. You are emanating mirror-like wisdom in all directions from your body. You are self-reflection, reflective in all actions. Reflecting without judging, seeing consciousness as a huge mirror, clear, vast, with no self-clinging. Now feel the elephants beneath you. That steadfastness of the elephant. Deliberate steps without rushing, without reactivity. Strength, imperturbable. So now, leaving the Vajra family, now let's bring our awareness to the south and feel the energy of south. Here is the Ratna family. The color is golden yellow. The season is autumn. Here in the south is the peaceful, luminescent yellow Ratnasambhava. Ratna translates to jewel. So sometimes he's called the jewel-born. He's also called the Buddha of supreme generosity, the Buddha of giving. That generosity, like the generosity of the earth, about giving without a distinction or preference, because he sees all beings equally. Equanimity. And his mudra is the Virata mudra, supreme generosity. His left hand is in his lap and right hand over the right knee, but with the palm out. Giving, offering. And feel beneath. See, there's horses at the base of the throne. He's seated on the horse throne that represents dignity and a richness. If you've ever been around a horse, there is that sense of dignity and richness that they embody. But it's also this significance of the horse is about an impetus towards liberation in the pursuit of the Dharma, the horse that ferries all beings out of suffering. His seed syllable is Tram, and he is the transformation of pride into equanimity. The same energy, but with the struggled, it released. So take a moment now to feel the encumbered emotion. What does it feel like to have arrogance and pride that covers a deep insecurity? Maybe it's a neediness, a need to be noticed, or a consuming hunger. Just remember a time that you felt this. If it helps, you can close your eyes at this point and really tune in to a time where perhaps you were even invasive, looking for nurturance from others. Or just feeling not good enough. And the anxiety that goes with that. But his seed syllable Tram, through the yellow color of your body, we transform into Ratnasambhava. Tram. Feel that sense of your yellow body. The transformation of insecurity and pride into a fundamental quality of equality of all beings. Feel a deep connection to the earth, where that horse throne is sitting. Feeling that horse throne beneath you. The symbolic energy of the impetus towards practice and the energy and effort it makes to support our practice. And now, leaving Ratna in the north, we bring our energies towards facing west. Here is the Padma family. The color is red, the time is twilight and the setting sun. Here in the west is Amitabha, the Buddha of limitless light, infinite light, immeasurable light, and compassion. He's red, he's peaceful, radiant. Sometimes he's described as an embodiment of love, but it's a love that embraces the diversity of all phenomena, seeing individual characteristics with discernment wisdom, but open to all. Now, if you notice, beneath him is a peacock throne. And the peacock represents the ability to transform poisons into beauty and wisdom. It's said that some of the stories will say that that's how the peacock got its beautiful colors, by eating snakes or things that might be poison and transmuting it, purifying it into wisdoms. And notice his dhyana mudra. You notice that both hands are in the lap, right at the level of the stomach. Right hand is placed over the left with the palms facing out. That represents the no need to grasp, to cling or control, just resting in that compassion for all beings. His seed syllables, Hri, H-R-I. So identify now with that blocked pattern of Padma. It might be a time of feeling needy, a desire to bring in, to grasp or cling another person or an object. It might be a time of wanting to be in control. What does it feel like to have that desire that might dominate? But we will now sound the Hri, and through that sound and light, we release this emotion into its wisdom state. It's still energy. It's the same energy, but without the struggle of the ego. Let's sound the Hri, H-R-I. Feel yourself as the red Buddha with the mudra of hands resting in the lap, no need to grasp or cling. The peacock throne beneath you as a reminder that poison can become beauty, gifts transformation. You are the embodiment of the wisdom of discernment. You're magnetic, but without manipulation. You're self-contained, balanced, able to make appropriate actions for the good of all. And now, leaving Padma in the west, we make one last turn to the final articulation of the mandala here in the north. Here is the green karma family. In the north is Amoghasiddhi. He's called the Buddha of infallible accomplishment. He represents the tireless activity of the awakened state for the welfare of all beings. And he possesses this accomplishment without effort, effortlessly accomplishing all actions. And beneath him is a Kanara bird throne. Kanara bird is part human, part bird. And it represents human in transition to a new level of consciousness. The transition, sometimes Lama will call it the transition from human to superhuman. Humans who can fly on the winds of karma. And his mudra is the mudra of have no fear. Such a good one. Abhaya mudra, meaning fearlessness. Left hand in lap, right hand up in a gesture of fearlessness. His seed syllable is ah. So now, if you like, you can close your eyes and tune into the blocked pattern of speediness. It can be envy, competition, making comparisons with others, a need that it has to get done right away. Really, what does that feel like when you're feeling that sense of anxiety that's creating that speediness? Really feel a time that you felt that anxiety that makes you feel like you've got to do something. But now, as we sound his seed syllable, ah, A-H, we will become Amoghasiddhi. Through the sound, the light, we'll feel this encumbered pattern of anxiety dissolving, and we become Amoghasiddhi. You are the green Amoghasiddhi, the embodiment of the wisdom of all accomplishment, already accomplished, a trust in the moment that all is as it should be, letting go of all struggle, anxiety, resting Have no fear. In the knowing that all will get done in its right time, right way. Trusting the flow rather than the force. And feel beneath you the Kanara bird, half human, half bird. Ready to take flight with pure awareness. Now we're going to leave the karma family in the north. And I invite you to close your eyes if they aren't closed right now. To imagine that you're returning to the center of the mandala where we started. Feel yourself as Vairochana, the white Buddha. In the center, white spaciousness. The union of consciousness and emptiness. But then in front of you is the blue Buddha, Akshobhya, emanating mirror-like reflective wisdom. And then to your right, Ratnasambhava, the golden Buddha of equanimity, equality for all, pouring from his body, your body. And then behind you, there is the red Buddha Amitabha, emanating the wisdom of discernment, compassion for the good of all. And then to your left, the green Buddha, the embodiment of accomplishing wisdom, green Amoghasiddhi. Feel yourself complete in this mandala. Your whole being has been transformed into the mandala of the sacred masculine. Skillful means and compassion. Feel how your being, excuse me, sorry. Feel the energy of sacred masculine pouring from your bodies out to the world as an energy to transform, to support the wise sacred masculine of skillful means and compassion. And just as we arose, we then dissolve. Slowly the mandala begins to dissolve. Each of the four Buddhas, front, right, back, and left, they dissolve into the central white Buddha Vairochana. As they dissolve, you see their light starting to pour through your body as Vairochana, like rainbow light. And now, Vairochana begins to dissolve into the Om at his heart. And we rest in emptiness. And when you feel ready, I invite you to open your eyes, still maintaining some of the energy of the sacred masculine that we can take out to the world. We can embody, multiply. And if you like, you can put your hands together to dedicate the merit of our time together, of our practice. May it be offered for all beings. Imagine right now that whatever goodness we've generated goes out to all beings, everywhere. Helps them, benefits them, supports the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine, and all things with life. Thank you.
Thank you, Lopön Ellen. I so appreciate your wisdom, your generous offering and sharing with us today, your clarity and your energy. And I know I'm not alone in that. So on behalf of all of us, thank you. And thank you at home for your participation and support. If you would like to go deeper, there is an information and Q&A session coming up on March 21st, ahead of the first module of the Mandala Method journey into the Mandala of the Empowered Feminine, starting on March 24th. The links for those are in the chat now. And you can see all upcoming events on the Tara Mandala calendar page. Links are in the chat. You can follow Tara Mandala on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to stay up to date with our news, and join our mailing list to get updates straight to your inbox. Past episodes of Lama Live are stored on our YouTube, where you can revisit them at any time. Your engagement there is appreciated. Now, following the tradition going all the way back to the time of the Buddha, 2600 years ago, you have the opportunity to make an offering of dana to Lopön Ellen. Dana is a Pali and Sanskrit word that means generosity. Offering dana creates an auspicious connection and is a beautiful expression of the interdependence between teacher and student. Dana directly recognizes the precious gift of the teacher and the teachings, without which one could not practice the Dharma. To offer dana, please follow the link in the chat now. And now, all that remains is for me to wish you farewell, and we hope to see you at the same time next week, that's March 16th, for the next Lama Live with Dorje Lopön Chandra Easton, as she unveils the sacred sounds of the 21 Taras, alongside her co-founders of the 21 Taras Collective, Nina Rao and Genevieve Walker. Goodbye.
Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Re. Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Re. Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Re.